Yes, welcome back. It is Sunday, February 9th, and you're watching the One More Round live chat. Motherfucker, I forgot to fucking stop looping that. Came back in the studio, thought I did it last time. Anyways. Oh, that last one got me. This is the One More Round live chat. We took a hellacious L yesterday. We'll go over that in a little bit. But yeah, I'm your host, Gav. Do this every Sunday. Give you MMA picks, tips, tricks, parlays, all that shit. And we had a bad week. We our first bad week of 2025. It was bound to happen at some point, and it happened this week. Who's here early? Oh yeah. So it was a tough one. It was a tough go, but it's all good. Follow on social, main card minute. One more round fight. Scan the QR codes below. Scan the QR code on the left for main card minute. Scan the QR code on the right for one more round fights. As you know, we do the full card watch alongs for UFC pay-per-views, and then we do the main card watch alongs for UFC non-numbered events, so the UFC Fight Nights and such. But yeah, and then follow on social, one more round fights on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, fucking Twitch. And then, as you can see there, different spelling on X. Send your wins into one more round fights at gmail.com. If you got a pick or two off this channel, I want to see how much you win off of it. Okay. Because I know you got some Tom Nolan money. I know you got some Jake Matthews money. I know you got some Drickus money. Because I know I got that. They were in the parlay slips and I took singles on them too. So the parlay didn't hit. I hope you took those singles. But yeah, and shout out to our sponsor, W.GG's promo code one more round for 10% off. That's promo code one more round, 10% off. Without further ado, let's get into it. UFC 312 happened. And it was headlined by Drickus du Plessis taking on Sean Strickland in a rematch for the UFC middleweight title. And guess what? Drickus did the same thing he did the first time. Drickus defeats Sean Strickland by decision, this time unanimously. He won every single round on my book. I think he won round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Some people gave Strickland round 4. I did not. I was not in that populace. I think Drickus ran away with that fight. I'm glad he did because the money was on Drickus. I didn't think Strickland had a chance. The first time he barely had a chance, and then he tried to blame it on this cut over the forehead and then all this other stuff. He thought he won the fight. I was like, bro, I had money on you in that fight, and I still didn't think you won that fight. You didn't do enough. And the same thing happened here. He didn't do enough. He did that same style. He throws the teep kick. He throws the jabs. He tries to block all your straights with a Philly shell and then get in the high guard. And then it didn't work out for him because Drickus found all his strikes. He threw in combination. He threw straights. He threw hooks. He landed to the body multiple times. He pushed him back. He threatened takedowns, pushed him into the fence. He did everything he needed to do, and Drickus walked away with the win. It was an easy win. If you had money on Drickus du Plessis, that was probably one of the easier wins of the night. Regardless of the fact that it took you 25 minutes to get that win, I don't think he was in danger at any second of the fight. Not even 1 second. I didn't see Strickland hurt him. I didn't see Strickland push him back for more than 10 seconds at a time. I didn't see Strickland land a blow that would make him bleed or cut him in any single way. Drickus du Plessis was largely unscathed and unbothered throughout this whole fight. So it was easy money. In that respect, it was easy money. Shout out to Drickus du Plessis, building a crazy resume for himself. Wins over Israel Adesanya, multiple wins over Sean Strickland, wins over Robert Whittaker on his route to the title. He is on his way to becoming the second best middleweight, if not, he's already the third. So he's on his way to being the second best middleweight. He's on his way. Maybe 1 or 2 more wins. As long as he gets that middleweight win record away from Izzy, he's always going to be, nobody's going to ever beat Silva. Let's get that clear. He's not going to do it. Nobody's going to do that many defenses. Nobody's going to do that many wins in a row at the title level. It's just, Very hard to do, and longevity plays a long part of it. Can you see Dricus du Plessis still fighting at 38, 39? Do you see him fighting more than twice a year? It's going to be real tough to do that. Real tough. He's 31. So, I mean, the division isn't that scary right now. Let's take a look at what's next for either of those guys. If you look at Dricus du Plessis, there's only one name that everyone wants to see. Now, somebody got a big win last weekend, French guy, Nasruddin Imavov, but not quite the level of height that Khamzat Chimaev has, okay? Now, they did move Nasruddin Imavov above Chimaev in the rankings. Imavov is now at the number 2 spot. Chimaev is now at the number 3 spot, which kind of lets you know where the UFC's heads at or the odds makers' heads are at. But no. We're doing number 3 first. We're doing Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis next at middleweight for the title. I don't care. I don't care. You know why? Because we're going to take Nasruddin Imavov and make him fight fucking Strickland next. That's what's happening. Nasruddin Imavov will take on Strickland next. If he beats Strickland, he'll put himself next in line for the title. But the next title shot that we need to see, the next biggest fight that you can make in this division that everybody wants to see happen, is Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. That's all I want to see at middleweight. I will not entertain anything else. I don't want to hear about Bejeda coming down. I don't want to hear about du Plessis going up. I don't want to hear about a welterweight challenging for it. I don't want to hear about Makhachev skipping over welterweight to go for the middleweight belt. All I want to see next is Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. Make it this summer and make it fucking skippy. I want to see it now. Let's go. That's what I want to see. That's the only thing I want to see, and I don't care. And Strickland, you're a fun fighter. I say, not actually. You're a fun talker. You're a fun talker. Fun fighter? I don't know. We'll see what you can do against Imavov. Imavov, fun fighter. Nasruddin Imavov, fun fighter. Now he wasn't always that, but you gotta admit, with the last couple wins my boys pulled off, we gotta look at him like he's got something to do. He's got big shoes to fill. Real big shoes to fill. Because you knock out Israel Adesanya in round 2 like that, my boy, and then you also TKO Jared Cannonier, who fights next weekend. You get a big decision win over Brendan Allen and Roman Dolidze. You were beating Chris Curtis until a clash of heads. I mean, avenge your loss to Sean Strickland. Okay. That was at light heavyweight, by the way. That was at light heavyweight. So Imavov Strickland at middleweight. No extra weight on him. Nimble, ready to move. And Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis. It wrote itself. History rewrote itself. He already lost to Strickland. That's his last loss. His only loss in the last half of a decade, besides the Phil Hawes majority decision. So avenge that loss to Strickland, and you get your title shot. Easy money. Done. No more talking about this fight. Next. I was going to do a fighter spotlight this week, and I think you all know who is going to be on. Tatiana Suarez. And with the loss, I just couldn't bring myself to doing the fighter spotlight. So no fighter spotlight this week. Unfortunately, I have to punt on the fighter spotlight this week. I have to punt. But this brings us to our next topic. Weili Zhang defeats Tatiana Suarez by unanimous decision. I know I talked a lot of shit. Tatiana was supposed to win. Tatiana's wrestling. This is Tatiana's time. Tatiana this, Tatiana that. Tatiana shit the bed. Tatiana shit the bed. What can we say about that performance? Let's first go over Weili Zhang. Weili Zhang proving she is an all-time great at strawweight. Weili Zhang may be the greatest strawweight champion we've ever had. She's beaten all the other greatest strawweight champions we've ever had. Weili Zhang is a bona fide badass, and I apologize for overlooking her. Now, 35 years of age at strawweight made me apprehensive. It made me apprehensive. But Tatiana's not that much younger than her. Weili Zhang from China put a hurting on Tatiana Suarez in every single round. And in round 5, landing big elbows, big punches, landing powerful kicks to the body, putting a stamp on the fight. Weili Zhang. Oh, I lied. Sorry. She hasn't beaten all the greatest strawweight. She never beat Rose. My apologies. She never beat Rose, but she beat Carla Esparza. She beat Joanna Champion twice. She beat Jessica Andrade. The only one she hasn't beaten is Rose, which gives me ideas. It does. Now hear me out. We'll get back to that. Now let's go over Tatiana. Now, there was 2 schools of thought on this. Is that Tatiana was going to come back after a long layoff with new tools, new skills, sharpened wrestling game, better striking. She was going to prove that she is here to grab her belt and be the champion. But that's not what happened. The other school of thought was that she took too much time off, hasn't faced the same level of competition, or should have took a tune-up fight before this. And her skills have regressed because she has been on the sidelines too long. And women's MMA in general has gotten to a much better place. And the latter is what happened. Because Tatiana looked pretty terrible outside of that. And honestly, she looked bad in every round. Round 1, she got the takedown early, and we were like, yes, this is what we thought. This is exactly what we thought was going to happen. And then she let Weili sweep her on the ground. Weili easily swept her. And then stayed on top for the last minute of the round. It was still a Tatiana round, but Weili showed us signs that she was going to take this fight. And then Tatiana gets the takedown again in round 2. And the same thing happens. She gets swept by Weili. And the same story plays out later in the fight as well, because it happens again in round 4 and 5. So Tatiana's wrestling game, it's great to get you to the ground, but it's not great at maintaining control and top positioning. So her game is not effective in 2025 MMA, whereas Weili's game has been effective since 2022, since spinning back fisting Joanna Champion, since submitting Carla Esparza with a rear naked / armbar type thing, since decisioning Amanda Lemos and Yan Xiaonan, as well as Tatiana Suarez. Weili Zhang, gotta get some respect on that damn name. And that's the last time I doubt her, unless she fights Rose Namajunas. That's the last time I doubt her. It's the last time. Rose is the only person that could beat Weili Zhang, apparently. Rose Namajunas is the only person that could be Weili Zhang. Which leads me to what I think we should do for next. Sorry, which leads me to what I think both ladies should do in their next fights. Now, what I'd like to see is Verna Jandiroba get a title shot against Weili Zhang. Verna deserves it. She's on a 4-fight win streak. She's beaten a lot of the top competition in the division. Verna's beaten Angela Hill, Marina Rodriguez, Lupi Godinez, and Amanda Lemos, finishing Amanda Lemos. She deserves a title shot. That was a performance of the night bonus as well. Now, if we didn't do that, which I know we're not going to, because Jandiroba is scheduled to face Yan Xiaonan on April 12th. Rose isn't doing too great at flyweight. What if we brought her back down for another trilogy? What if we did Weili Rose 3? What if we did that? Now, Weili could easily just wait for the winner of Yan Xiaonan and Jandiroba, who I think it's going to be Jandiroba. But what if we made a blockbuster fight with Rose Namajunas, Rose coming back down to strawweight? I mean, she did look good at flyweight, regardless of the fact that she lost her last fight. But what if we did that? Wouldn't that be fun? I mean, she beat Tracy Cortez and Amanda Ribas. She beat Weili twice. Esparza's pretty much done. Manon Fiorot challenging at flyweight for the title next. Aaron Blanchfield next in line for the title at flyweight. Right now is a perfect time. If Rose wanted to, she could bounce between both divisions. Now, I don't know if she wants to cut all that weight anymore, but if she did, she could grab her belt back, and that could be her route to fighting for a flyweight title. If she has the strawweight belt, the chance to become a champ, hey, that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying keep that in mind. That's it. I'm just saying keep that in mind. I'm not saying that happens, but what a world this would be if it did. It would be fun. No doubt in my mind that it would be a big fight. That could hold up an entire pay-per-view itself. It doesn't need to be a co-main. So I'm down with the sickness. But yeah, Weili defeats Tatiana Suarez, 49-46, 49-46, 49-45. As for Suarez, I'd say take some time off. Everybody's tied up. I'd say work on that game, heal that cut up. She had a huge cut on her knee from falling into the fence on a takedown. Could have affected the way she fought, but hindsight 2020. It's either take some time off or wait for the loser of Jandiroba Xiaonan. And that's the game plan for Suarez. But fantastic win from our strawweight champ, Weili Zhang. And making her case for the greatest strawweight of all time. It's her or Rose, and Rose has 2 wins over her. But it's getting close. It's getting close. It's getting close. Let's go over the rest of the UFC 312 results. UFC 312 results. UFC 312 results. Let's go over the rest of this card, shall we? This card was ass. I don't care what Luke Thomas says, what Luke Nocita says, what Brian Kamer says, what Ariel says, what fucking Jed or Mike Heck or anybody says. This card was ass. This card was booty. It was trash. I would not watch this card back ever. Ever. There's no reason for me to watch this card back ever. I think maybe 3 fights are worth me watching it back. Maybe 4. Maybe 4. The rest, boring ass decisions. Boring as all hell. You know, there was only 3 finishes on this entire card, and 2 of the finishes happened in the first 30 seconds of the fight. We watched a lot of MMA on Saturday. Not a lot of good MMA either. Let's go top to bottom. Taliesin Teixeira defeats Justin Tafa. TKO, knee to the body and elbows. Round 1, 35 seconds. Taliesin Teixeira, big heavyweight, long heavyweight. I think he's 6'7". Hits Justin Tafa with an elbow, reminiscent of Johnny Walker's elbow on, maybe it was Volkan Ozdemir or somebody, who I forget what elbow, or oh no, it was Khalil Roundtree. Reminiscent of the elbow on Khalil Roundtree. Just right over the top, folds Justin Tafa right away, drops to his knees and elbows, lands a couple more strikes, referee stops it. And then Justin Tafa gets up asking, what happened? Bro, what do you mean what happened? You just got elbowed in the face and fell to the floor. You willingly shelled up and you're asking what happened? That was the weirdest. I don't know. That was weird. Anyways, light heavyweight Jimmy Crute and Rodolfo Bellato fight to a majority draw. 29-27, 28-28, 28-28. Jimmy Crute kind of robbed here. I think he did enough to get the win. I could see how the draw would be awarded, but I think the best scorecard was that 29-27 because Jimmy Crute had a 10-8 in round 1. He was whooping on Rodolfo Bellato. Drops him, lands some more strikes, almost gets a sub. For some reason, jumps in his guard. Definitely should have stood over him and just landed more shots. But did the dumbass thing that everyone does in MMA now, which is jump in somebody's guard after they has him hurt. He did that, and he ends up getting a draw for it. Doesn't get his win, unfortunately. But yeah, Adolfo Bellato sneaks out of there with a draw. Definitely should have lost that fight. That was a light heavyweight. At welterweight, Jake Matthews defeats Francisco Prado. You're welcome for the pick. You're welcome. You're welcome. Jake Matthews, home fighter. Unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. It was an easy win for us. The man just wouldn't shoot for a takedown. It was pissing me off because he always gets takedowns and he just wouldn't. And we took the 2 takedown props, the 3 takedown props, the 4 takedown props, and this man turned into a kickboxer. So that was tough to see, but he got us the win. He was in the parlays. More to come on this week's wins. At featherweight on the prelims on ESPN2, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus, Gabriel Santos defeated Jack Jenkins, submission, rear naked choke, round 3, 2 minutes and 6 seconds. This fight was okay. Of the fights on this card, this one maybe go back and watch besides the finishes, because Gabriel Santos and Jack Jenkins, they had a little fight. They had a little scuffle. Jack Jenkins drops him in round 1, hurts him, looking like he's going to take the fight, but then Gabriel Santos gets on top of him and steals the rest of the round. Pretty much in the same situation as the Suarez Weili round, how most of the round 1 went to Jack Jenkins, and then Santos kind of stole the end of round 1, but still gave it to Jack Jenkins. Gabriel Santos completely dominates him in round 2. Jack Jenkins shoots for a takedown for some reason in round 3, which is not his game at all. Especially this type of opponent, this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt killer with many submission wins. That was just a weird decision to make. Gabriel Santos flips it, takes him down, and ends up submitting him with a rear naked. So that was a dumb move by Jack Jenkins. He basically lost himself the fight there. At lightweight, Tom Nolan defeats Vyacheslav Borishev. Unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-28, 30-27. You're welcome. He was plus money. So he was minus 105 or plus 100, So he was very good value on Tom Nolan if you took him with the points at plus 650. Like I told you, you're welcome as well. He made us a lot of money on Saturday night. I wish I put more on him. I wish I had more faith in Tom Nolan. I did not. Either way, my parlays were killed because of Tatiana. So that's just how life goes. Wang Kong defeats Bruna Brazil 30-27 across the board. Had no faith in Wang Kong because she screwed us last time in China. Of course, she screwed us again here because we had Bruna Brazil and the Fighting Nerds pulling this off, and she had nothing for her. Absolutely nothing for her. Came through with the Batman mask, left as a Joker. Bantamweight. Alessandre Topuria defeated Colby Thickness 30-27 across the board. The Topurias are the real deal. They're the real deal. Both of them. They both have hands. They both have wrestling. They both have jiu-jitsu. They're both elite. Now, how elite is Alexandre? We're about to find out. I think after that type of win, after the suplex that we saw, after the big heavy hands, very reminiscent of his brother, Ilya, that we saw in that fight, I think we're going to see him get a really good opponent next at bantamweight. We may even see him get a fringe 15er next after that performance. Now, he didn't finish Colby Thickness, but he did everything but finish Colby Thickness. So Alexandre Topuria, very good look for his first fight in the UFC. He did play it a little conservative, but he did have to get that win. I can't wait to see his next fight. He is now 6-1. Let's hope he goes 7-1 so we see something interesting at bantamweight. Again, he is the older brother of Ilya Topuria, but with the younger fight record, if that makes sense. And then on the prelims on Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and UFC Fight Pass, we had Rong Zhu defeating Cody Steele, unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. That is exactly why I didn't put Cody Steele in any of my parlays. Something smelled fishy, and it was Cody Steele. Also, with this fight at lightweight, if you're going to go back and watch any fight on this card, this is the fight to go back and watch. These boys were going at it. They were throwing bombs. They were doing everything. Cody Steele just could not get the takedown. He just could not do it. So that was the issue there. But Cody Steele had a lot of heart in the fight, goes to the decision, just ends up losing. Jonathan McCaleb defeats Kevin Juset, unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. We have a good young prospect on our hands. I'm excited to see what Jonathan McCaleb does next. And Quinlan Sakalik, defeats Anshul Jubli, TKO punches, round 1, 19 seconds in. It was a weird stoppage. The ref definitely jumped in real quick. I think it was justified. He landed pretty hard. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. And that completes the UFC 312 results. It's a little quicker show today. I'm not going to lie to you, a little quicker of a show. I'm trying to get shit done. Watch the Super Bowl today, Let's go over now. I talked about it last time I did this stream. Claressa Shields was boxing. It was a Sunday boxing event. We haven't seen each other since then or talked about it since then, but Claressa Shields defeats Danielle Perkins. Decision. Unanimous. 100-89, 97-92, 99-90. She had her way with her in every single way. And in that final round, Claressa Shields dips off to the side, lands a big right on the face of Danielle Perkins, puts her down face first, nearly ends the fight in the last few seconds, but Perkins works her way back to her feet, beats the referee's count, then the fight ends. Claressa Shields proving she is one of the best female boxers on the freaking planet. She is now the undisputed female heavyweight champion of the world. Claressa Shields is your heavyweight title holder. Wow. I called it, told you guys she would win. It was no surprise there. The odds were crazy with her. So, yeah. But Claressa Shields proving she is the best on planet Earth. She is the GOAT. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Sorry for all the haters, but she came through and she proved that she's the best and she deserves all the spoils that come with it. Also, great movie. If you haven't checked it out already, go check out Claressa Shields' movie. It just came out. Pretty moving as well. But that does it for boxing. There wasn't that much boxing over the weekend. Uh, let's go over some upcoming boxing though. We got some upcoming boxing, some shit coming through. Like I said last week, Dennis Berinchik is taking on Keyshawn Davis, 12 rounds for Berinchik's WBO lightweight title. That'll be on ESPN and ESPN Plus this weekend. That is on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day, February 14th in New York. February 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, on the Zone pay-per-view. We have a title fight between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. This is the rematch, in which some say Bivol was robbed. We'll see what happens in the rematch. It's 12 rounds for Beterbiev's undisputed light heavyweight championship. The winner of this fight should be fighting David Benavidez, who won in a title eliminator last weekend against none other than David Morrell Jr. And then in March 1st in Las Vegas, PBC pay-per-view on Prime Video, we got Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roche Jr., 12 rounds for Davis's WBA lightweight title. Can't wait to see that. I'll be boots on the ground for that. Maybe I'll do a little stream while I'm there. We'll fuck around and find out. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it for upcoming boxing fights. Which brings us to our favorite segment of the week, baby. Now, it could have been a glorious this week's wins. It could have been. It could have been the most epic this week's wins of the year. It would have been like a $2,000, maybe $3,000 this week's wins. But Tatiana Suarez shit the bed on us. So no, it's a small one. It's a small this week's wins. Very small. A lot of my parlays had Tatiana Suarez in them. A lot of them died. A lot of my singles on Tatiana Suarez died. The only things that survived are anything with Weili and singles. Is the only thing that survived. So yeah, let's go through them. Oh yeah, Tom Nolan. I threw a little 10 piece on Tom Nolan to win by decision. It ended up working out. Tom Nolan. Well, $75 off $10. We like that. I wish I did more. I really did. Really did wish I did more. But I also did on FanDuel. I had to do it on FanDuel, and I doubled down on FanDuel. So Tom Nolan, big winner of the week. Thank you, Tom Nolan. By points, I threw in the 15. I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm throwing in a little bit more. Threw in another 10 on it. Ended up really cashing it. So thank you, Tom Nolan. Appreciate you. Then later on the card, I gave you guys Jake Matthews. That ended up cashing as well. Took him with the points. Jake Matthews' decision on both apps, doubled the money up, 50 into 100 both times. You love to see it. Thank you, Jake Matthews. Appreciate you. Those are my gold star picks. I had both of those guys winning by decision. I had it on all my boards for them to win by decision. I also had Jack Jenkins to win by decision. If he didn't make dumb decisions that fight, it probably could have happened. But yeah, it didn't. So yeah, thank you, Jake Matthews. Shout out to Drickus du Plessis, also bringing in a win. Shout out to the mystery bet on the main card minute as well, because that's the reason I put this in. So yeah, nice little 25 piece to bring back 60 something dollars, 100 something dollars coming back on Drickus du Plessis. Can't be mad at it. So appreciate my guy for bringing us some good fortune. And the and still parlay, which I had to put in because of our CP units bets, honestly, because of Weili Zhang and Drickus du Plessis winning. I had to do it. As you know, I did it on DraftKings, baby. Had to do a little parlay, 50 piece for a plus 200 essentially. Bring back 150. Thank you, Weili. Thank you, Drickus du Plessis. And yes, I did it on both apps. Had to do it on FanDuel as well. Did the same amount. A little bit lesser odds for some reason, but still brought back money. Can't be mad at that. But yeah, it was a small segment. It was a brief segment. It was a quick segment. But it was another segment of this week's wins. So thanks to all. If you bet money and you won, appreciate you. If you lost, I'm sorry. Sometimes this happens. You can't win them all. Can't win them all. You probably don't want to hear me talk about these since last week kind of screwed us. But here are my picks for UFC Fight Night 251 from Las Vegas, UFC Vegas 102, for those who are confused about the verbiage. I got a few picks for you. Youssef Zalal. I will never be betting against this man. Ever. Let's get that straight now. So Youssef Zalal taking on Calvin Kattar. I'm going Youssef Zalal. He's making his title charge right now. Youssef Zalal should have a great win on the feet. I expect this to kind of look like Calvin Kattar versus Max Holloway, honestly. Also, I'm going my Long Island native, Nazim Sadiqov, Law MMA, Longo and Weidman, trains with Aljamain, trains with Merab, lightweight. He's really good on the feet. He's really tough, strong. I think Nazim Sadiqov beats Ishmael Bonfim. I'm fading the Bonfim brothers. I'm fading Ishmael. I'm fading Gabriel Bonfim because I'm also going with Chaos Williams, Kalen Chaos Williams to get the KO. I think he'll do it at welterweight. I think he'll get the job done. And for my final pick, Caitlin Souza. I think she'll beat Angela Hill. Angela Hill hasn't been looking great as of late. I don't think she'll have enough to beat a young, hungry contender like Caitlin Souza. So yeah, I think Caitlin Souza gets the win here over Angela Hill. And those are my picks for UFC Fight Night 251. That's it. That does it for me. That's this show. I tried to get out before 2. I did a great job of doing so. I got shit to do. I'm hungry as fuck as well. So that's going to do it for me, kids. Go check this out. If you're bored on Sunday before the Super Bowl, Monday before you check out Morning Combat, before you check out Ariel's show, all that other shit. I don't know what they're going to say about their takes, but yeah, Tatiana didn't look great. Drickus did look fantastic. Can't wait to see him fight next. A lot of things happened. A lot of L's taken this week, but we take them in stride. Sponsors, hit us up. I'm not even going to call you out anymore. You know what? The guys that I have called out, if you want a sponsor now, you're not going to fucking get it. You're not going to get it. Sorry, not happening. Don't forget to scan the QR code below. Follow on social, like, subscribe, all that. Get the likes up, get the subs up. Trying to hit 200. Don't forget to follow on social. You already know that. Send your wins in onemoreroundfights@gmail.com. And again, I'm your host, Gav. I got to get the fuck out of here. I'll see you guys next week. Come back Friday for CP units. I think we'll have at least a fight or two on there. I think we'll have let's see. Oof. I don't think we're gonna have any fights on there. Oof. Maybe Angela Hill, Caitlin Souza will be on there. And Cannonier. Oh man. We may not have any CP units fights. I'm not sure Gregory Rodriguez is in the game. We may not have any CP units fights. I gotta check on Youssef Zalal and Kattar. We'll see. Maybe no CP units this week. If I'm just doing Caitlin Souza and Angela Hill, I'm punting. So, maybe not. Maybe we'll do something else. I'll think about it. But anyways, I got to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I hope you cash your bets. I probably won't. I keep losing. Fuck it. Peace.